Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It is Thursday. Tomorrow's training is on Ask and Attract, and I got all kinds of special stuff planned for that. If you want to get anything, my books, guides, exercises, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We'll pin that below. I have a text community, which we'll pin below, 949-298-2905. I'm happy to send you out my book, sign it, pay for shipping. I don't care. I'm happy to be of service. Anyway, Friday's training is Ask and Attract. If you want any of the celebrities, athletes, entertainers, billionaires, entrepreneurs, just download the playbook. All my trainings are there. Spotify, iTunes, Entrepreneur, Google Play, they're all right there, featured. Just download the playbook, and we'll move forward from there. All right, don't know where Team Dave Meltzer is, but they will pin that up there, david@dmeltzer.com. Thank you so much. How do you monetize a podcast? There's so many different ways to monetize a podcast, right? You can sell runs. You can utilize it for business development. You could sell it to a station. You can sell advertising, all kinds of different ways. But the key is you need to build something to sell. So, understanding that you have to build something to sell is probably the most crucial part. 99% of all podcasts, the 2 million podcasts that are out there, don't even get 100 downloads. So you need to build something that people listen to. You need to build an audience so that you can have advertisers and opportunities with that audience. So I would focus in on that first. How do I start a lead generation business? Number one, get leads. And then 2, advertise. And then 3, create a margin for those. That's the way that I would do it. But the key would be to effectively get leads somewhere, and be able to do that. Here we go. What do you think of YouTube automation? I don't think too much of YouTube automation. I mean, anything that is put into the context of any of the platforms, you need to adhere and adopt to the way things work. So I always think about, without resistance, how am I best going to effectuate YouTube automation and what I'm doing? That's where the modify part of content capture and creation exists, is capture your stuff, focus in on making that the strongest frequency you can to the right spectrum, and have it perpetuate in the right way, and then modify it according to things like YouTube automation. So it's cause and effect. Too many people get caught up in the effect and don't worry about the cause. If you were restarting your business from the ground up, I always consider I'm restarting my business from the ground up every day. That's why I take inventory of my values. What would be your first step? For me, alignment, and then action, then adjustment. Get aligned with what's synergistic and supplementary to what's doing well today, and then see how those capabilities, skills, knowledge, and desire are aligned with that, and then go ahead and get aligned, take action, and prepare for adjustment. So that's the best way, and put it into context of what we do. Thank you for all these questions, by the way. They're really, really good. What's the biggest ask you made earlier in your career? I think the biggest ask was I asked for my first job out of law school. They had a requirement that you needed 4 years of litigation experience, and I was the only one that they hired right out of law school. And I made that ask, and I said, do you see any reason you won't want to use me, although I don't have this? And I illuminated it. I don't have this capability. I did not practice law. I have these capabilities that hopefully will show you. And I asked them why you would need that experience to do the job that I was in. Could there be alternative experiences that may render me more qualified even than what you're looking for? And re-engineered their vision, let them make an exception to what I was asking. So it's important to ask big, ask often, ask the right people, and you'll get a lot of advancement, acceleration, and growth in what you're doing. All right, let me look for what's your biggest tip for starting up a business. Capitalize it correctly. Do an assessment of your timing and risk tolerance so that you will have the right perspective to make it through that way. Mikey wants to make sure I note Sharon Eddings, the founder and CEO of Code with Sharon, is the Junior Achievement Impact Award winner on 2 Minute Drill. If you haven't caught that, go ahead, look on Bloomberg TV or Amazon Prime. They're both there. We got my friend Brooke Taylor here. Let's, where am I looking? Pacific Beauty. Is Brooke here? Oh, wait, hold on. Don't see. How do you find investors? Ask. Do you know anyone that can help me? I'm looking for investors in this project and be able to articulate. There's Brooke. Perfect. Brooke Harvey Taylor at Pacifica Beauty. Back into, there she is.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for joining me. I'm very well. Thank you so much. I am very intrigued in your world of health and beauty. We've been working in it for many, many years, and the evolution of enlightened, compassionate business to help enhance people's self-confidence and their inner and outer selves. And so Pacifica Beauty is known for their 100% vegan and cruelty-free offerings, which are so important. What's the biggest challenge? Like, why do companies not take the extra step to do the right thing and take shortcuts that will be in the long term harmful to either human beings or environment or to animals or to other things? I wrote a whole book called Compassionate Capitalism. What do you think it is in the psyche that makes us want to take those shortcuts when it is so much more empowering and profitable to work through issues to help everyone?
I think for me, it seems like it's a money issue. It's more expensive, quite frankly, for our brand, being value driven, being accessible, being clean, being cruelty free it's not easy. It's not the easy path. It's also a more expensive path. So for instance, my cost of goods are more as a beauty brand than a lot of brands' cost of goods. We're paying attention to everything along the way, but whether it's at the very beginning of product development, thinking about ingredients, thinking about using, non-animal products, thinking about what it really means to be clean. There's so much that goes into it. Actually another body that I staff who's just thinking about these things with me. And so it just becomes, at the end of the day, about money. That's what I believe. And money's driving this, the whole economy, and people are thinking selfishly sometimes. And I'm not saying other brands are selfish. I'm just saying sometimes it's just not easy to think about these things or to accomplish it. We've been doing this for 25 years, and it's gotten easier and easier. So I think that's why we're seeing a huge influx of a lot more clean beauty brands and a lot more vegan conversations happening. It's just easier, and suppliers are paying attention to it, and the world is paying attention to it in a really different way than they were 20 plus years ago.
It's so interesting. I have kind of four values that I teach within my business. Equally, for 35 years, I've been doing this, and people, will ask me, well, how'd you come up with those? And for me, they're evolutionary. I just didn't start my business the first day and, sit down with Warren Moon and say, look, we're going to teach gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. And it was that clear. For you have four brand truths that you work with, and it's built quite an enormous and valuable, I think, culture for your company. But was that something that was from the very start, like you said, from 20 years ago, or moreover, was it, an evolution to get to those four brand truths?
It's funny, as I think about the history of Pacifica and the brand truths, and really specifically our core value, which is compassion, it's 100% evolutionary. It's not like you just start out. And for me, it's evolutionary about my life. Like I feel like I was kind of born to have this brand, and that, when I was a kid, I grew up on a little cattle ranch and raising animals in Montana led me to becoming vegan when I realized we were eating my pets. There's these things that you experience as you're growing up and as you're, developing your core self that are really important, I think, as a company owner, or, when you go out into your life and do things. And definitely our core value being compassion was evolutionary and part of truly my life and how I grew up as a kid, and also just thinking about what kind of company I would want. And when like, for instance, my mom had MS when I was a kid, so she was all about eating clean, all about, she had my sister and I working in the natural foods co-op in our local food co-op so we could get a discount on our food. And that's when I discovered beauty, clean beauty. And that's, sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, these products are really cool, but they're not speaking to me. They're not pretty. And how do we think about could I think about making something that's more beautiful? And then, just having that experience led me to creating this brand. So definitely evolutionary, and also understanding what it means to be compassionate and really living your life in a compassionate way has guided me as not only a leader, but also as just in product development and everything that we do here at Pacifica.
What's so cool is your story is indicative of the lessons that need to be learned in life, and that sometimes the pain or the challenges that we have, if we look upon them as indicators that we have something to learn, can move us in a better direction instead of stop us. And the other thing that comes to mind is one of the biggest challenges for all entrepreneurs is patience blended with persistence. And I talk about the math of, if I could just teach entrepreneurs what you learned through your evolutionary growing up with your situation, is that it takes about 90% of the time to get to 25% of where you're supposed to be. And you also have faith that you're going to end up somewhere better than you think you're going to be. But I say supposed to be. And that requires the blend of faith as well as action. But it's interesting because those people that have a more open mind that's based off of values and truths and not specifically off of an end goal, like, for example, money, seem to get there faster. And most 99% of the people that I know, they quit before they get to the 25% of the way there. And the sad part is they're only 10% of the way to go. And it takes, less and less time, meaning it takes 90% of your time to get to, literally 25%, but then it only takes 5% more time to get to that 95%. And then it takes 2.5% of your time to get to 100%. And then half of that to get to 200, 400. That's why I believe there's no overnight successes. For you, how have you learned, to blend that patience and allowance with obviously a lot of what I call the law of Goya, which from living on a farm, get off your ass because stuff's not going to get done unless you do. But if you grow up a Goya person, it's very hard to train the patience and allowance side of it. Where did you learn the patience and allowance side?
That's actually a great question. I think that I'm still working on it. I don't know that I've completely learned it. I think that it's a process. I think even I love the Goya. That's a great thing to think about. But I'm often the person to push someone out of my way and do it myself, and allowing other people to come in to help and to also participate in the work is really important, and that takes patience. And I think that for me, it's been the learning this has been a process. Again, I will never forget the first time I ever spoke publicly was right when we had taken on an investor, and I had a line of people waiting to speak to me. And after I spoke, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to be able to talk about how I started Pacifica, the brand, my values. And every single question was, how do I get an investor? How do I start this? How do I get my brand kicked off? It was a moment where I sat back and thought, I have been doing this for so many years at that point. And I started the brand out of, a love for what I do, out of compassion, not to just find an investor and sell a company. And I think that if you start from a place of true, core values and instead of thinking, how do I create this and sell it? that's a place where you're not going to really, I think, experience and be able to create something beautiful, create something that comes from within, from a core value, and then move forward. So I think that's I don't know if I really answered your question, but
Yeah, no,
patience
you did.
is.
You did. And you also brought up one of my favorite lessons that I teach entrepreneurs. I think it's okay to, um, look for an exit. If you want to build a business and hope for an exit someday, I think that's an okay goal to have. But you're not going to get there unless you build a business for a lifetime. I tell people it's okay to have a goal to exit, but every day your day-to-day operations and perspective should be, I'm building this business for a lifetime. And that's really what you did. And I always find the people that have the passion, purpose, and profitability have many offers to exit. And a lot of times it gets in the way because they don't, I know people that, dreamed about exiting, and then they started a business that they were going to build for a lifetime and realized that it was their lifetime and they didn't want to give it away. And I know people who do give it away. I'll give a specific example. Dr. Connolly with MetRex. He sold, Troy Aikman, one of our clients, was the first spokesperson for MetRex, and it was bioactive dairy proteins. And he ended up telling me it was the worst decision he's ever made, that they commercialized his product and his brand, and, his life vision, like yours, was not worth the $105 million that he took in. And so I think you represent a true compassionate capitalist, a true entrepreneur, someone who is aligned specifically with what I believe in, is to make a lot of money while we help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. And no surprise you're from Montana. I spent a lot of time in both Bozeman and Butte. And the Beef Trail, that was my ski mountain I was developing, the Beef Trail in Butte, and many properties in Bozeman. And so if you haven't been to Montana, by the way, you're missing out. Everybody should go. It is a place to be, just to experience. Thank you so much, Brooke Harvey Taylor. You can be reached at Pacifica Beauty. Where else can people find you and your products?
We're at Ulta Beauty, we're at Target and Whole Foods.
Well, I appreciate every company should take a look at what Brooke is doing, because you can just be a little bit more interested than interesting and have it all. So thank you very much for being such an icon to us.
Oh, thank you. Really
Take
fun.
care.
Bye. You
Congrats.
too. Bye.
What a great company. What a great person. What a great entrepreneur. Many great lessons there from Brooke Harvey Taylor. Check her out at Pacifica Beauty. You can find their products at pacificabeauty.com. They have those brand truths, cruelty-free, vegan, clean ingredients, and social justice. You can't beat them. Join them, please, with your company. Figure out how to do the same for your company. All righty. We are looking here. Justin Pugh, build a business that lasts a lifetime, and you'll have many offers for exits. We got a quick question from my friend and founder at Lucky Me. Let me see. I'll find him there. Prashant. Here we go. Hopefully pacificabeauty.com there. Hey.
Hey, hi David, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for accepting the request. I'm from India, love from India, by the way.
Thank you. I
Lots and
love
lots of
India,
it.
as you know. Been there tons of different times, and I was really interested. I know you were running software mechanics and had a
Yes.
question for me, so love to have you on and see if I could help you.
Yeah, the question is actually pretty much interesting. The question is basically general for everyone. Like, if you fail, okay, in doing something, be it in relationship, be it in, business, how much of it do you blame it on yourself? Because what I believe is, it's like, it's completely on you. But doesn't that create a self-doubt, a loop of self-doubt on you when you
You know,
blame it on yourself?
what a complex issue, and I love addressing it because number one, I believe in accountability. So let's address.
Mm-hmm.
I, like you, believe I'm 100% accountable for everything in my life. That there's a difference between accountability and liability. Liability goes to
Mm-hmm.
blame, shame, and justification. Liability lies
Mm-hmm.
within different rules, regulations, and laws that exist. but accountability
Mm-hmm.
answers to a higher source of truth. Accountability says
Mm-hmm.
two things. What did I do to
Okay.
attract this to myself? And most importantly, what did I learn from it? And so not only does it give us control, but it allows us to enjoy the pursuit, because it takes what you call a mistake and it turns it
Mm-hmm.
into a lesson. It takes what most
Okay.
people see as a stop sign and it turns it into a turn signal. It allows us to go
Okay.
into a better direction, to a better situation, to expand and grow and learn in every situation without any blame, without any shame, and without any justification. In other words, the energy is the most efficient,
Mm-hmm.
effective, and statistically successful way to utilize what we're connected to. See, Prashant, the problem is most people, they think they're going
Mm-hmm.
out and getting what they want. They don't realize that they should be using their free will to clear away the interference, the voids, the shortages, the obstructions to what's already there. And so if it's already there, then we know that we're
Okay.
accountable because we've attracted it to ourselves and we've put out and maybe focused our attention and intention on the mistakes, on what's missing, on what other people want for us, instead of taking
Okay.
100% accountability with no liability, 100% accountability to attract what we want and learn from it. So I pray upon you many lessons, many turn signals to push you in a better place, a better position, in a better situation. Does that sound fair?
Thank you. Yeah, of course, of course. That sounds fair. Absolutely. And can I ask you one more, if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay. So, secondly, how do you break through in a market which is micro niche? Have a very little to get from. So, how do you break in that market?
Well, first of all, you may not want to break into the market if it's too small. If it's for a business
Okay.
if it's for a business purpose, if I have something that I know out of the, 4.6 billion people that are on the internet, if there's
Mm-hmm.
4.6 billion on the internet and I can only find 10 people that would be interested in what I'm doing, why would I start a
Mm-hmm.
business there? Now, the nice thing
But
about
what if
4.6,
that's expertise? What if
so
that is your expertise?
So then take your expertise. This is a great question, by the way, Prashant. So thanks for bringing it up because a lot of people have these issues. So what I would do is take your expertise and go ahead and look at the skills that are incorporated in your expertise, the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge that you have of your expertise and who you know within your expertise, and then
Mm-hmm.
also your desire, and then see
Mm-hmm.
how it's synergistic or supplementary to what's doing
Mm-hmm.
well, what industry, career, business, company, where those capabilities are synergistic to what's doing well in a bigger market or in a stable market or in a market you think will grow. So maybe there's only 10 people today, as there
Mm-hmm.
were in 2010, buying the Doji coin for tipping people, or maybe, esports in 2010, there's only a few people that were playing, but you feel that your capabilities were synergistic and supplementary and aligned to what would be doing well in the future, then you can
Mm-hmm.
blend the persistence and patience to be a leader of a huge opportunity. So what we need to do is be more interested than interested once again, and take and look at those
Okay.
niche capabilities that you have and find how they're synergistic and supplementary to different industries, careers, jobs, businesses that are doing well, are stable, or will be doing well in the future. Okay?
Yeah, sure. So basically get creative with the niche and provide value if you can.
Yeah, and you
Maybe
you
that
can
can
reach
help.
all my TV shows now in India on Jio, the big network. So they're featuring
Sure,
the two
sure. I
minute
would love
drill,
to.
the playbook 2 minute drill. If you need where to find it, anybody, it's david@dmeltzer.com. It's pinned below. But we're excited to be on Amazon, in Bloomberg, in America, around the world. But
Hmm.
Jio is televising my shows as well.
I would love to go there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, David, for
You can try
giving
out
me
for my
time.
show too, worldwide, $50,000 of cash and prizes every episode. Go ahead, david@dmeltzer.com, okay?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Share my content, do good deeds. What a great question. We are all over it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, where are we at here? Let me take a couple questions. Let me take one question before I bring Patrick Combs on, my Bliss Champions buddy. There's so many questions lining up. I want to make sure that I'm covering these. Hey, Dave, what factors do you look for when testing credibility? Give a big shout out to Dave Marino. If you're not following him, make sure that you do. He is an incredible sports agent, partner at a huge law firm, and great entrepreneur. Credibility for me is seeing how close to the truth. The only way we know credibility is asking hard questions, and hard questions usually deal with math. So that's what we're looking for when we look for credibility, is to trust everyone, but vet the crap out of them. Ask the hard questions of how much money are you making? When did you make it? How did you make it? Is that margins or gross? Mike Mamula in the house as well, one of my great partners with Marino in Media Abundance. Follow Mike Mamula. He's right there as well. Let me see if Patrick Combs from Bliss Champions is here, the Bliss charity coach. Let me see if he's here. Not yet. Do you see him in here? Team Dave Meltzer, let's answer a few more questions. What lesson have you learned this week? It is Thursday, and Ask and Attract is my training, and I am learning about the collective consciousness. I'm learning about the minds that are connected to and through each other, and how the Blisspreneur is here. How do you like that? Let's bring him in. And how my individual thought is relative to the collective consciousness, or can continue to grow, expand, and align with the collective consciousness in that realm, because very, very confusing and complex how I can have individual thought, but there be a collective consciousness, a greater one that we're all connected to. And what impact does it have when I see something a certain way? Why doesn't everybody else see it that way? And how can I get everybody else to see it that way? And what does seeing it mean? And anyway, there he is. We brought him on. Patrick Combs, how are you?
Good, David. How are you?
Well, I'm terrific. I'm more excited now to have you on, obviously, with my mission. I always say I want to empower over 1 billion people, but you could also say I have a mission of bliss, and you're a bliss coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I wanted to say really quickly, I've actually been on for 10 or 15 minutes. I just forgot to join. But there's two things that I just feel deeply in common with you. I was raised by a single mom. And so your affinity and affection for the sacrifices and gifts and those profound lessons your mom taught you just go straight to my core. My single mother taught me what it does mean to have a very rich life that has nothing to do with money. And then this phrase, the same phrase I always tell my children: be more interested than trying to be interesting, and watch what that does for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm so likes attract likes, and anyone that calls himself a bliss coach and is on the journey of expansion of creating the greatest virus of all time, happiness for others and for themselves. There's no doubt, but it's so weird because nobody else in all the millions of people that I get to be around has ever told me that they actually have adhered for years of being more interested than interesting. And that's the lesson I learned at 18 from my older brother that changed my life, because he put it right in my face. You'll get this from having a single mom, the guilt side of having such an amazing mom. Also, someone who has not told you what to do, but shown you for years what to do. There's guilt that comes along with that, especially at a young age when you don't know better. But at 18 years old, I was pre-med, and I went in to visit my brother, who was a doctor, and he was in the hospital, working. And I looked at him and I said, man, I hate hospitals. And he almost fell over. He's like, Dave, you're pre-med. What do you mean you hate hospitals? I was 18. I'm like, I want to be a sports doctor. I'm going to be in locker rooms and sidelines. I'm not going to be in a hospital. And he looked at me and he said, let me give you a piece of advice, brother. He said, be more interested than interesting. He goes, every doctor is in a hospital for years. I don't care what kind of doctor it is. you have not done any research on what a doctor is or what they do. You're only concerned what doctors get paid because you literally want to be rich and that's it. Please. And you said, don't be well trained, be well educated. That was the other
Oh,
part that I
nice.
rarely said, which I loved, because I was in a freshman year of college. Don't worry about being well trained. Be well educated. Be more interested than interesting. Learn, the multi-variables that exist in the world that create humility, that there's billions of things that we can learn. And rule number 6 is applied to my life, which is probably one that don't take yourself so seriously. Uh,
I love it.
anyway, I want to
Can
get
I can,
into,
can I show you something real quick though?
yeah, please.
Unexpected, Dave. My mother of very little means, right? GED education, LPN nurse. She wanted to give me a gift for graduating college. So this sits on my desk every day of my life. Those are just wooden carved ducks because I admired them once. And, they were like probably $500 from the artist who did them. My mother traded her washer and dryer to give me those ducks for graduation. And every son of a single mother knows what the washer and dryer does for
Yeah.
someone. So
I'm choking up.
I think that there are single parents somewhere on this call that are busting their ass and wondering, if they're succeeding, and if you're just being a parent and you're dedicating yourself, you don't have to be rich to raise rich children.
Oh, I'm choking up. Sorry. That duck story killed me.
Me too, man. Every day of my life, it just sits there is the thing that reminds me. My mother had nothing and she gave me everything. But speaking of sort of follow your bliss, my mother was a Joseph Campbell and a Patanjali, two people that, Patanjali 1,000 years ago essentially told people through the Yoga Sutras, follow your bliss. And then Joseph Campbell came along and articulated that for some reason, if you can line yourself up with what your joyful desires are, and then Stephen Jobs came around and mirrored the language and said, something inside you already knows who you want to become. And so my mother, this, GED education, knew this somehow, even though she wasn't able to do it for herself. She raised my brother and I always saying, boys, just do what you love. Do what you love. I don't care what you do with your life. Do what you love. And so my life benefits from that wisdom all the time, from knowing that the most valuable, practical, fulfilling, meaningful, productive track or decision-making North Star that I can use every day of my life is, where is my joy calling me to next? Where is it calling me to expand into? We call it a bliss journey. Where is my bliss calling me?
Yeah, the bliss journey to me is defined as a capability that my mom taught me, and I want to get to a question about that, to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of my own potential. My potential that existed, that was my job to clear what was in the way of my potential in me. My potential, the truth already was there, and instead of trying to go get it, utilize this consistent, persistent pursuit to clear the way to it, and so it comes through you. But one of the interesting things that you said that really hit me hard was, you said, my mom never could do it for herself, but she was this catalyst for your brothers and you. We had 6 kids, 5 boys and a girl. My mom was a 2nd grade teacher, packed my dinner in a paper bag, filled up turnstiles at convenience stores at night, read to us. Like, I'm choking up, so I got the ducks in. But to me, it kills, she's almost 80 years old now. As a 2nd grade teacher, I had people come up to me all the time and say, oh, are you Karen's son? And yeah. And, like a doctor or a lawyer or a senator. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh my God, your mom was my favorite teacher. She changed my life. And I'm thinking, she was your 2nd grade teacher, dude. How, like, literally the impact that she has. And I think to myself, what is it about our moms that they're so powerful, yet they don't feel worthy of the lessons that they empower others with to use on themselves?
David, obviously I never intend to go here on a conversation about following your bliss and living your purpose, but it must be relevant. And I go where relevancy is. David, I'm so happy to hear that your mother is alive. My mother passed away 5 years ago. God bless her. And David, literally sitting on her bed where she died, my brother stepped out of the room and words came through me that I'd never thought in my life. They poured out of me and I said, whoa, because what came through me, and I said to my mother, is I said, hey, you can go now because you completed your mission. And my mother goes, what mission, son? It's not in her language or anything. And I had never thought of my mother having a mission. I said, Mom, what do you mean what mission? In one generation, you ended racism, poverty, lack of education, and physical abuse. The buck stopped with you. You did all that. And she goes, oh, son, I never thought of it that way. And she just started crying her eyes out. And I had never seen it so clearly before. So my mother lived her purpose. She lived her purpose more than I believe I could ever live mine. So to your point, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's I didn't expect this on an IG Live, but I'm so glad it is. And I want to finish up with the Purpose Code. Obviously, a book that you co-authored, Maximize Your Joy and Astound Yourself. I can't think of anything, to me, more valuable than understanding purpose itself and having a purpose code. And I think people are deceived, they're confused about purpose itself. They have a feeling of, and I think it's a glamorized feeling, a romanticized feeling of why. I talked about learning to love what I do. I talked about consistent, persistent pursuit. I have an extremely spiritual person, right? I believe in future lives and past lives, and I can channel. I'm a quantum healer. I'm way out there. I'm a woo-woo wacko, but I'm also a serious, pragmatic person. And the math of purpose to me says you need to know your what, your who, your how, your now. Then you'll be able to learn to love and have purpose in what your activities are during the day, whether it's activity you get paid for or activity you don't get paid for, or even the activity of sleep. I have a purposeful journey. When I unwind, my tomorrow starts today. When I unwind at 9 p.m., I'm very purposeful in my warming up to sleep and to utilizing a period of time when my subconscious and unconscious mind has no ego interference, and I'm able to plateau and grow my day. For you, when I'm looking to buy your book, Purpose Code, taking it one step back and saying, Patrick, what is purpose?
Every single thing created in the universe has a purpose. So for someone, if anybody wonders, like, is it real? Like, do it really have a purpose? Look around you. Everything has a purpose. So this is a nice little token device to sort of give you the meaning of purpose. This is my rock solid experience in life, both knowing my purpose and knowing how to help other people discern theirs. This is a little seed. That's all. It's a seed, and an entrepreneur in Pennsylvania figured out how to put a word on the outside of the seed. So this says spirit on it. And then if you plant these little things, they grow and the word is written on the plant. So that's amazing, right? And people are like, no, that can't be true. I don't know how he did it, but that's what he did. But I have used these for years to tell people what I know. You were born with something like this, and it's right about in here, right around in the center of your being. There is a word imprinted on your soul, maybe for this incarnation. And when the day you figure out what's the word on mine, and you start living in alignment with that, you start trying to live up to that word. See, that's my word. Your life goes better, runs deeper, and riches becomes a much greater expanded definition, because it includes joy, it includes service, it includes giving your greatest gift. So our work in the Purpose Code is to help people know, what is my word? Like, what is the magical thing that I was born to do as part of my role in this body called life, called the universe? So mine, David, is uplifting. I know that when I uplift, whether it's through entertainment or through inspiration or through coaching, if I'm in alignment with Patrick, how are you going to uplift today? What are you going to do that I might uplift somebody else? Then I have a co-conspirator that has the power of the entire universe.
Wow. I, yeah, I'm like sitting here in shock. I'm like, drop the mic. For me, I just know my word is happiness, and I'm here to empower others to be happy. And when that message came to me through a long journey of lessons, like, I thought I was crazy. And then I thought, man, I can't tell anybody what my mission is. I can't tell. And the initial reaction was exactly what I had put out there, right? What are you, crazy? Do you think you're Jesus Christ? Do you think you're Tony Rock? Who do you think you are? And this is
Who do
from,
you think you are?
the intelligent scholars, the higher level pragmatic thinkers that I surrounded and called family and friends. Lost your effing mind. You're gonna start doing videos and content to make people happy. Who do you think you're a sports agent, you fool, right? And yet my seed was planted. Like, I knew it. I got choked up when I was thinking about it. I get choked up now because it means that much, just like our moms.
Yeah.
And so, gosh, I just never had thought that word, is just like that seed. And I definitely, where can people find you, your book, and even the seed? Because I got to get myself a happiness seed that we need to plant.
Okay.
As many as we can. I always say Dennis Waitley was one of my mentors, a great salesperson. He used to tell me, David, you need to plant seeds under trees you'll never sit under. So don't be impatient. Just plant those seeds under trees you'll never sit under, and you'll be fine. I'm going to plant millions of seeds of happiness to reach over 1 billion people, and you're going to be part of that mission. People are going to read the Purpose Code, maximize your joy, astound yourself. Came out in January of this year in the most crucial time. So, Patrick, we got to do more together. You got to get on more of my shows. More people need to see you.
Thanks,
you
David.
are just a hero in my book. Thank you so much. Where can people find the book, the seeds,
purposecode.com? And the first thing we do is give, right? So just go give, get this super extensive, the best we could give you, the 10 obstacles that stop almost everybody, who goes looking for their purpose, the ones that you got to get out of the. You said it earlier. You said, get those obstacles out of the way so that you can pursue your personal greatness. So go to purposecode.com, read that thing. And here's an exercise. Circle the 3 that you face the most, and then just begin asking anybody you respect or admire around you, hey, how would you clear this obstacle? How would you clear this obstacle? Or then move step forward and get our book, because we're dedicated to help you clear those obstacles to live your purpose.
That's awesome.
Thanks, David.
Patrick Combs, you're amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you soon. Reach out. Right. We're going to do more stuff.
All right. I'm going to get you that seed, David.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
The great everybody. Patrick Combs. Check it out, the Purpose Code. I rarely get someone that aligned. Obviously, we have spent past lives together, me and that unbelievable person. If you did not see this, go back and watch. We're going to put this up on the playbook as well. I'm going to get him on office hours in the playbook. I need to learn more. I need to read the Purpose Code. I'm going to go there right after this to thepurposecode.com. All right, I got to go over to Junior Achievement to announce Sharon Eddings, the winner of the Junior Achievement Impact Award from 2 Minute Drill on Bloomberg and Amazon. Colleen, I see you there as well. My information for books, guides, exercises, everything's for free, david@dmeltzer.com. Join my text community, 949-298-2905. Remember, everybody, training tomorrow. All the replays are available on Spotify Entrepreneur, Google Play, iTunes. Just the playbook, download it, share it, like it. I got to get over there right now. Remember, be kind to your future self. Do good deeds.